Welcome to AstroTwins Radio, your cosmic GPS for life, love, and everything written in the stars. We're Tali and Ophira Edut, the AstroTwins, here to decode the astrology of the moment and help you navigate your destiny like a pro.
Hey everyone, it's a week of December 8th to 14th. Welcome to this episode of AstroTwins Radio. Tali here in Seattle. Ophi in New York. And yes, it is December. It's feeling, I don't know, is it feeling holiday-ish? It's just in the same way that everything feels weird this year, I guess, you know. Well, it's been a year. I mean, it's a year in review. It's been the fastest year and the longest year at the same time. It's a 9-year in numerology. 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 5. You add up those digits and you get 9. That's how numerology works for what's called a universal year, one that we're all experiencing together the way we all experience an astrological transit. So 9 years, numerology actually goes in 10-year cycles, but it goes 1 to 9. So we are at the end of this cycle. And next year we begin again with a 1 year if you add up the digits of 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 6. So a lot of renewal coming, a lot of active energy. But as we wind down these final few weeks, there's a lot of things that need to be wrapped up, you know? Are you wrapping up anything, Ophi?
Not the Spotify wrapped moment. Yes, I guess that's what you're. It is a time warp year. Like when I think about things like Doge, it seems like it just happened, or the LA fires in a way. But if I think about Meghan Markle's TV show, it seems like it was 5 years ago.
Wait, did that come out this year, not last year?
Yeah, it was this year.
Mm-hmm. Wow. You know, I don't know if I mentioned this or not, but when I was at Godmother's Books, when we were there in Montecito in mid-November, I did buy a jar of her raspberry jam. I still have about half of it left. It's good. It's not, like, oh my God, something that, I have to send to every family member, but whatever. It's a good jam. It's a good spread.
It looked good. I liked that she showed people how to make them too. So, haven't gotten around to it. That maybe that's what's left on my 2025 list, but probably not. I don't know what else is
well,
there.
I can tell you from, funny, we're just releasing our video series of on Instagram. So if you're not following us, hop over to AstroTwins on Instagram and do that, because we put something up every single day, whether it's a little bit of advice or a meme or a video that one of us does. But we are, giving everyone a little prescription for what to wind down before the year's through. And for Sagittarius, it actually is something with home and family, something that needs to be, just wrapped up or taken care of, or, just so start looking there,
I'm certainly doing a lot of homework with my daughters. So there's certainly that. I think
she's really gotten into being a student this year, hasn't she?
I don't know.
She
took some honors classes, which means I'm taking them too, because she's a Libra and
she outsources.
She outsources. I have to do some of that, especially the English with her. But yeah, this year, I guess the question for everyone is like, what got you through this year? What got you through all the terrible news of the world that we all had to attempt to process? And it was too traumatic for most of us to metabolize, whether you avoided it or just felt dysregulated by it. It's such a thing.
It's a time for nostalgia, because this Wednesday, December 10th, we have Neptune turning direct in Pisces, which is a nostalgia sort of life review transit if ever there is. Neptune is that dreamy liminal space, and Pisces is the final sign. It is kind of really echoing the 9-year wind down. And the fact that Neptune is back in Pisces, back direct, is extra significant because this is the final lap of its tour through Pisces. It's going to be moving into Aries for 13 years on January 26th. So we just have like a little over a month to wrap up a long 15-year cycle that began in April of 2011 when Neptune came back around to its home sign. And, so nostalgic. What did get, what got me through the year was people, was community this year, especially, and it was very Neptunian because I wasn't together in person. I spent a lot of time at home. This year I didn't travel as much. I was finishing up my divorce that kind of dragged on for a good long time after a separation. But, I was married for 17 years. So you're enmeshed, you're entangled, you love each other, you're moving into new phases of life. But who gets to keep the colander, who gets to keep the coffee maker, all of those types of things. So I wanted to kind of spend more time at home and maybe even savor these last bits of living together with my now ex Corey, and we're parting on very amicable terms. We'll be in each other's lives as friends, as family, but
I mean,
it's
that's very 2025. It was
mhm.
the year that I think people went beyond conscious uncoupling. You even wrote something in our 2026 horoscope book in the back in the almanac section about relationships 2.0 in the age of
Relationships in the age of
Aquarius.
Aquarius. Yeah.
Yeah, and just where we're headed. I mean, and it was funny because shortly after that, I think it was The Cut came out with something about quiet divorcing, and like
Mm.
there've been a number of articles about like, especially particularly focusing on women just kind of not really checking out, but being like, all right, I'm going to stay married, but I'm just going to do my own thing. Or like what's really happening is
Yeah.
this, just like everything in 2025 was so polarized. You have some people completely like going, I'm going to do relationships on my terms in a way that works for me. And then you had the whole, aggressive trad wife. That was something that happened this week. Like this Fox News host, I think she's like a business or finance host, saying that women get hot when they join the Republican Party. So, as if that's the most important thing. God forbid we're not hot in the eyes of
But
traditional femininity. But
there
it's
has
the
been so much of that Barbie world in the worst way propaganda this
yeah.
year, and it's amazing how quickly, at least for me as a Gen Xer, that can just activate a deep neural pathway in my psyche because we grew up, we were born in 1972. We grew up and saw, through the whole media revolution, through different phases. But, we used to wait every month for our copy of a teen magazine, YM, Young Miss.
Sassy, thankfully, when it came out, which
Yeah, for
you
them
worked
to,
at, and that set off our whole career. But
thank
yeah,
God. We'd wait for them to come around so that we could be assaulted with basically the Sydney Sweeneys of our time and check, why don't I have a button nose and a
at least we
thigh
had to
gap?
wait. At least we got a
Right.
break between, the delivery in our mailbox, unlike girls today who just have it on their screen constantly.
But we
But
didn't have a range of sizes or images or like
well, that's
body
true.
consciousness. Like that's why we started our magazine Hues in college. And you wrote your book Adios Barbie and compiled the anthology because we wanted to respond to the super narrow beauty images that, were like just completely drilled into our brains. And
Yeah, I mean, for that reason, it has been so wild to see like this trad wife movement among women really being like pushed by women born in the 90s, right when we were in college or out of college, not only embracing but almost weaponizing something that we fought to liberate ourselves from. It's sad to me to see that, and it's just this whole idea that the birth rate is low, so we need to like push women into having children. Well, how about like making it affordable for people to have families and giving people it's like this counterintuitive thing that we do now, where it's like, oh, just pummel people with propaganda about having children instead of like
and pummel
making a
white
world.
people. Let's
Yeah,
be
well,
honest.
yeah.
What this is racist propaganda.
True.
I
Yeah.
mean, if
Oh,
if the
absolutely.
birth rate was really something that the people promoting this cared about, they're also, they're also promoters of the great replacement theory of
Yeah. Well, speaking of white propaganda, it's crept into something that was once beloved of ours as art students. In fact, I happen to have their color wheel on my shelf. Pantone's color of the year has created quite an uproar because there was a dog whistling potential. Either it was dog whistling or absolute cluelessness. The color of the year is cloud white. Now, I've never seen Pantone pick white as a color of the year. And to do that now, when there is such abject racism going on all over the world, infecting the whole world like never before, open racism. I mean, to choose that color just feels either like you are so beyond idiotic and clueless, like what rock are you living under? Or WTF, is it yet another CEO who's trying to ingratiate themselves to the MAGA administration in the most idiotic way? Like, can we all just, I don't know, can we all just stop? I don't know.
It's cloud dancer. I mean, maybe someone thought that was a good idea, but like, who is dancing on clouds right now? Like, how far up your ass does
Maybe
your head have to be?
But
I mean, right, right. Cloud dancer, right? You know what? I'm gonna take back what I said. I think this is the perfect actual way to end this year of fuckery, because the president, Sky Kelly, who chose Cloud Dancer or was involved in that, is actually a Black woman. In a year where DEI has been canceled, weaponized, like the fact that they actually sent her out there to reveal this choice on stage.
oh my God.
It just tracks, like I said, with the fuckery of the year. Like,
and the year where DEI was just, completely destroyed by sending a Black woman out to announce a lily white color of the year. I mean, insult to injury, just a tragic,
or somebody who literally
of the year,
or
she's
a woman executive, a female executive who may be, a Black woman executive who may fear a job loss if she actually speaks up about something that at the beginning of this insane year, she could have vocalized objection to without fear or threat of, losing allyship from her.
Or she wouldn't even have had to, because the context would have been so different. Like, sure, maybe Pantone was due for a lighter hue. They've had some pretty moody ones over the last couple years, but like in this climate, just to be that literal, like, yeah,
what
like
about
said, it's just
like
so on brand.
What about 2025 to 2026 when immigrants are being disappeared to concentration camps and countries overseas. Do we need cloud dancer to be the color? What about this year where we need to wake up from a dream and a fog, not go deeper into it? So anyways, Pantone, you
Essence
failed.
voted it their own color, black excellence. I mean, there's been a lot of good parodies on Instagram, but still, it's like the fact that hurt people. It's a true injury to the souls of people who care. I mean, we've suffered a year of narcissistic abuse from the top down when your country and the so-called free world is being run by pathological narcissists and their allies, flying monkeys and cohorts. It's like everything hurts now.
Yeah.
It's been a heartbreaking year. It's like you use the word nostalgia. I can't feel nostalgia for 2025. Although, like you said, I did have some we had some amazing experiences personally and business wise. A lot of closeness with like good people really coming together.
Be with our students of
we
becoming your
got
own
to do
astrologer,
things. Yeah,
entrepreneurs have been like that was, and we spent some time at home. We did 3 trips to Detroit to our home turf for Book Fest and Summit and Passover. And I mean, there was a bit of nostalgia, but also a lot of grief. I think I did do the quiet divorce thing for God, a good 5 years since the pandemic. And there was a lot of, it's interesting as this trad wife flare up even intensifies, like how maybe it even jolted me out of it. Cause it was like, I just remember, it's actually almost been one full nodal cycle. I looked at the date that I met Corey, and the nodes were in Aquarius and Leo, and they're going back there 18 years later, middle of next year. And I was like, we made it through it. We made it through a full nodal cycle. Our relationship is an Aquarius in our composite chart. He's an Aries, I'm a Sag, so we combine into an Aquarius. But it's like there was a lot of inner trad wife parts in terms of like family systems therapy that I had to face down. It was like I remember 18 years ago, it was like I said, oh, I don't care about getting married, but inside I really wanted to. I wanted to be married. I wanted to have a partner, and I'm glad I did that. I'm not saying I wouldn't again, but not with the same attitude at age 53 would be. I mean,
I think
don't see any
Pluto in Aquarius has changed so much. Like from 2008 to November of 2024, we had Pluto in Capricorn, which is more traditional, which is about those roles and hierarchies and traditional gender roles. And even though Pluto kind of came in and shook that up, because Pluto also destroys and allows certain things to regenerate, but it has that real shadow energy.
It's true. My whole relationship took place
in that
Pluto and Capricorn. It's so true.
So when Pluto went into Aquarius, which is like, Capricorn can be sort of, Eartha Kitt was a diamonds are a girl's best friend kind of, Capricorn energy. It has that sort of power couple vibe. And then Aquarius is this, counterculture, independent, non-traditional.
Make your own rules.
Yeah. And that's what we're in.
Well, people keep asking, well, are you going to move back to New York? It's like, well, if you had asked me that 10 years ago, I probably would have said yes. But in this Aquarian energy, Seattle's a great place. I feel like it's very counterculture. It's very Aquarian. It's still a city that thrives on just making its own rules. New York does too. Just to finish my thought about the whole quiet divorce, because I'm, for some reason, the Scorpio stellium in me wants to be open today instead of secretive. No, I'm
I
kidding.
think it's our solar return charts. Like I've been
I know.
watching, observing for a week. Like my reasoning for wanting to go to Seattle was because I knew there's this grand water trine going on that is in the fire houses of Tali's chart. If I went to Seattle, it was going to be, so it was very bold and open and courageous. And by staying in New York, it's in these very internal, reflective water houses. And I didn't think I wanted that, but I just did not feel like traveling. So I was like, let's just go with it and see. And I, for the last week, have been like really kind of reflective, introspective. I've had got started at the gym. I've gone to acupuncture and massage and done all these watery yin things. And Tali's like in full yang, like, first, fifth, ninth house, like
Well, it's
letting
good.
it all
I
hang
need
out.
I need to
Yeah.
be, because, I will be, having some changes at my house as Corey moves out next, at the beginning of the year. But, a lot of the things that I processed were, taking it back to what we were saying earlier, was that internal programming around, a lot of shame. Oh my God, you failed, or don't age. I heard the term gray divorce and it always pissed me off.
Ugh,
And I had,
God, go away.
yeah, but I was just like, oh, I'm such a cliche. I have a gray divorce. But it's like, you know what? Who cares? I'm living my life for
It's a cloud
me.
white divorce, bitch. I don't
Cloud
know.
dancer, cloud
Oh
dancer.
God, I just can't get it. I refuse to like even process and commit that name to memory, obviously.
But it all kind of is that nostalgia that we don't want to dwell on. And yet, the last time Neptune was wrapping up its long tour of Pisces for good was back in 1861. And that was at the very beginning of the Civil War in the United States. And there were the Scarlett O'Hara Confederate, plantation debutantes. And then there were the reformers who were, the abolitionists, the suffragettes. And it
Sounds
feels like,
familiar.
right,
Deja vu.
watching Erica Kirk this year going, she was in New York City. Please never come back to the city again. You're not welcome
Saying
here.
something really stupid about like New York women, just, kind of like those bless her soul, they don't want to get married sort of
Well,
thing.
she was asked by Andrew Sorkin, who had two very weird interviews with her and Alex Karp from Palantir. We'll get to that in a minute. But he asked her what she thought about Mom Donnie, and she just like put on that faux concerned look, like, what I don't want to see happen is, women relying on the government instead of relying on their husband and creating a family unit. And it's like,
I mean, what does that even mean? Like people, and this is like what Pluto and Aquarius is about. It's like Pluto and Capricorn messaging might be women rely on a man. A good man is someone you can rely on, but in this dependent kind of traditional way. Like it's not that we don't want reliable partners. We all do, but like it's a two-way street now. It's like this whole idea of like, all these women who are out there telling women to just be passive and
submit.
just
There's a whole
submit.
submission, like,
Yeah, none of them are
propaganda now.
doing it. None of them are doing it. They
Yeah,
all have
like
careers
Phoebe
or on TV.
Robinson, who I absolutely love, dope Queen Phoebes, like does her like rants. So it's like, what, Erica, why are you telling everyone to be a trad wife? You haven't been home packing your kids' lunches. Like, here you are in New York without the Tammy Faye lashes and your hair all straightened. And
she's just like goes and poses. I'm like, why is she being positioned as this voice of women? It's like, get her off the
Yeah.
stage. The New York Times, they're losing me, man. They had that opinion article, the interview, like, our did liberal feminism ruin the workplace, and the
Everyone's
author.
been freaking abducted in 2025 by some kind of like insidious lizard alien force. And I'm so not having it. It's just, yeah, it's like, it's the year of the snake, which is deception and temptation. If you think about the biblical snake, like the temptation of wisdom versus staying in the garden of the familiar. And you can't use the red pill metaphor anymore because of the manosphere stealing that, and all the red pillar guys who have not taken any red pills. And I think they'd be better off taking blue pills, if you know what I mean, because I think they all need one. So try the other color, boys. But I think it's just, but it is a year of shedding skins and shedding people that are not, but here these
Well, it's
snakes
like
are
Erica
just
Kirk is
slithering
very
around.
snake-like with her whole seductive
The
faith
Scorpio.
healer. Yeah, she is. It's just like seducing people over to, this like Christian Bible camp kind of, and we see that with all
But she
religions right
uses that
now.
very like temptressy kind of energy. It's just, I'm just like, God, can we
And
just
the whole narrative that, and Stephen Miller's awful wife is peddling to about like birth rates dropping. It's like you don't need to be married to have children, to have babies. And they've supported wars and cut off USAID and not done anything about Sudan. We're now 21.2 million people, 45% of the population are facing extreme food insecurity. You don't care about those kids or the kids in Gaza who've died. I mean, it's like it's white children. You want more white babies born because
you're
you
a freak?
I know
Because
exactly.
you're
Say no more. It really comes down.
you're in a
But
cult and you're a freak. So
but
just go away.
yeah, speaking
Please.
I mean, does this launch us into freak offs? Because the Diddy documentary that's still on Netflix,
I mean,
the
Neptune
lawyers are
stationing
coming.
direct. Phew, has
You said it
we
last
said it.
week.
We said like
What's gonna
this,
wash up?
what's gonna wash ashore. Yeah. I have not yet seen this Diddy documentary, but
I watched it.
Diddy is a Cancer, and Jupiter in Cancer anointed him the truth teller.
50 Cent, yeah.
Yeah.
Fiddy. He said Fiddy
Fiddy.
hates Diddy.
Fiddy
Yeah.
hates Diddy. Diddy's a Scorpio, and 50 Cent is a Cancer. And wow, just
50
he
Cent
really
is
went and
petty
collected
and
receipts for a couple of good years.
he once bought out the front four rows, like 200 seats at Ja Rule's concert, just to, mess with Ja Rule after his whole, fire festival. But yeah, well, I was digging into it a little bit. I think 50 Cent, you know, um, just saw how Diddy was. I mean, if this documentary, I mean, all the people who were in the documentary were people who had worked for him, produced for him, been close to him, and just, he didn't pay them. He lied to them. He got all this work out of them. I mean, that's he essayed them. He, all kinds of things. And it's so just creepy stuff at the freak offs with his son Justin in the room, and just
Good Lord.
yeah, he was just it's horrifying, and it's like it was hard to
The Year of the
watch.
Snake brought some bad people out, really bad, just or expose. You know,
I've been
maybe the
reading a
thing to
book
be.
about that called Traumatic Cognitive Dissonance. Just like, this is the year, as I've said before, that I'm trying to learn about what's really happening psychologically in this country because these things have become epidemics. And I think as we move toward 2027, this new 400-year human design cycle that I've talked about, we're going to need a different understanding and framework. And this book really talks about disordered personalities and someone like Diddy who does not have remorse. And the kind of it's this the psychiatrist who wrote the book even says like going no contact, which we talked about last week, doesn't even necessarily work. But this is like when someone really love bombs you and creates a trauma bond and then kind of gets you where they want you and then abuses you. Like that is the pattern and the archetype that we've watched. We watched that with Donald Trump. He charms and love bombs people. We saw it with Bill Maher when it's like these people become like giggling, blushing schoolgirls when he flatters them. And then they make asses of themselves in public, kissing the ring. And then when he's done with them, he discards them. And this is a pattern that people are experiencing more and more in their personal lives with authority figures, with public representatives in our government. And I think it's the end. It's late stage Neptune and Pisces. It's Pluto, in Aquarius, a sign of popularity. Like what Aquarius is about belonging too, and Pluto is that unconscious shadow. Like what deep wounds do we have around belonging that we are so susceptible to this kind of love bombing by predatory pathological narcissists?
I mean, exactly what I was saying earlier on, those YM magazines that arrived and what's happening now with this Tammy Faye. I don't know. Sorry to Tammy Faye, because Tammy Faye was problematic in her own ways, but she was also a queer ally and many things that Erica
We're talking
Kirk
about Tammy
never
Faye
be.
Baker,
Tammy
who
Faye,
was married to Jim Baker,
now that was
the leader of, what was it called, TBN or something? It was a
700 Club, I think,
big
right?
evangelical Christian broadcasting network, and they would go in, one of the first mega churches and get televised donations, and she had these gigantic mascara raccoon eyelashes, and we used to like watch
I know. Remember, we found it just flipping through the 5 cable-free channels we had.
Name of all that is holy or unholy is this?
Yeah, we didn't know anything about that. As Jews don't catch the Holy Spirit. We just tell ourselves that oil keeps a lamp on for 8 days, but that was some interesting television in the late 70s that we caught, or the early 80s.
I mean, all this sort of free association we're doing is very much like Neptune going out of retrograde in Pisces. So Neptune rules Pisces.
Flooded with downloads.
Yeah, and it's leaving for good for over 150 years at the end of January, on January 26th. So we have this, now that it's turning direct on December 10th in Pisces, against the backdrop of a quarter moon, which is about balance, in Virgo, the opposite sign of Pisces. So this week we have, and then Mercury is going into Sagittarius
till New Year's Day.
Yeah, which is
who's going to speak up? That's what I was thinking. Who is
going back into Sag? It was in Sag already, and then it turned retrograde in Sag, and then went back into Scorpio again on November 18th. So it's returning for a second trip through Sagittarius, and that's a lot of mutable sign energy. Pisces, Virgo, Gemini, and Sag are the mutable signs. And we don't have anything in
I
Gemini.
heard that a group of 8 Democrats are trying to get an investigation into Elon Musk for election tampering. I'm just kind of like,
Oh
what are
gosh.
we going to? Is Marjorie Taylor Greene? She's like unplugged lately. Like,
Mhm.
and some names on the Epstein files are coming out. The Black Book, of course, shocker. Bubba, Bill Clinton was all over it. But
I mean, if that's what we're trying to protect, like
stop protecting the, yeah, I mean, Neptune actually rules jails and hospitals and places that you can't escape from, as well as escapism, addiction. So yeah, I mean,
and
what
retreats. So it's got like it's like healing, retreats, spirituality, and then also, you know,
lock those motherfuckers up, really?
yeah. Yeah.
Oh, drugs and addiction. I mean, let's talk about that Palantir, Alex Karp, who was tweaking on stage when he was being interviewed by Andrew Sorkin of the New York Times. Just like could not sit still, could not stay in his seat. It's like, I mean, either that or he had like serious gas or something. I don't know what was going on.
People have just really become unhinged like never before this year. So, I mean, well, if you want to know what to look forward to, good news. Our 2026 horoscope book is printed, shipping, it's on sale. We have so many copies flying out into the world, especially since our big Black Friday gifting sale. And while the very best prices went away, we still have some amazing deals on our bundles and books. And if you do want to get them, if you're in the US, and we have 3 of the planners, the single zodiac sign planners for $99. We do have that still. And those are cherished favorite gifts. People who get them say they leave them on their nightstands or take them with them themselves all year, everywhere. Like it truly is a guide for the entire year for you. So it
And if
kept
you
a
want to
lot of
get it,
people on course. Yeah, you can get it if you want to get it for the holidays.
order by
Order.
December 15th.
Yep.
And you can go to
December 15th is our very last
astrostyle.com
day.
slash holiday. We also have the big book. I have it sitting right next to me. I'll hold it up if you're watching us on YouTube. This is the big book that actually has all 12 signs. And I love that we have these tabs so you can find the sign. It has all 12 months of hot spots. It doesn't have the calendar, the individual sign ones that Ophi's talking about, the 3 for 99, though, does have calendar pages that you can write on
but everyone still gets our bonuses too. So you're going to get the ability to download all the hot spot dates, the new moons, full moons, retrogrades, etc., into your iCal or Google Cal with a touch of a button. It'll populate the whole year with all those dates and alerts for you, and a ticket to our 2026 Planet by the Planets annual masterclass. That's on January 11th, 111. It'll be recorded. So that's something we do every year. People love that. And yeah, so definitely get your books and see what's ahead, because we are moving into the year of the unbridled spirit. It's a 1 year, it's new beginnings.
Fire horse.
You know, fire horse. It's very, I've already started giving little presentations to different groups about it. And the energy is really going from this kind of like freeze, fawn, deer in the headlights, cloud dancer, kind of frozen energy to, forward, let's go, charging ahead. June Jordan's quote, "We are the ones we have been waiting for," really sums up what I think 2026 is about. No more passively waiting for a leader to show up. The leaders, amazing ones are showing up, and so many of the ones that we have suck too.
I mean, we have
great ones are
Saturn and
showing
Neptune
up.
in Aries, 0 degrees, meeting up there first time in over 2,000 years. Can't even find the last time that happened. And they are at the Aries point, the start of the zodiac. So that is like a reset and a call. And then Aquarius, North Node, halfway through the year on July 26th for 20 months. Like a new leadership model that's much more communal and collaborative.
It does bode well for the midterms. So the only hope I can have is that all this I really hope that we get chaos fatigue. I mean, I have it. I've had it since January 2nd, but I'm hoping that the people that thought that the chaos that was being sown was a sign of progress and change. It just
Sometimes you have to see you have to see, what the man behind the curtain. I just saw the Wicked. I
Wicked
just saw
too.
Wicked part 2. So, the wizard, quote unquote,
I thought it was so cool how they just like told the story in this way of like, oh, like it's like the grown-up version of Santa Claus versus the child's version of Santa Claus. It was just
I loved
mean,
it. I don't know if people like the first one better, but I, as a diehard Wizard of Oz fan for years, because that's all we had to watch in the 70s too. I think I like the second one better. I really,
yeah, the music in the first one obviously better. Like I couldn't even tell you what a song from Wicked 2 was. Like there wasn't a single memorable one in my opinion. That's others may disagree, but again, I'm not a Broadway theater person like big time. But
get dragged for saying
I know
that,
I'm going to get dragged for that. But I honestly wasn't like, oh, I love this song versus how I like really did love the music of Wicked. So I mean, maybe if I watch it again, I'll hear something. But
I mean, it was the social
I was into the
commentary
plot.
was so timely, and I know it was filmed before. It's kind of like, so it's like this couldn't be more in alignment with what's happening now. We won't give too much away in case you want to go see it. I didn't get to see it in 3D. A friend of mine did and said it was amazing. I might go back
I might go back and
see
watch
it
it
in
in
3D
3D.
because I mean
Yeah,
it just
that
starts
sounds
at
cool.
9:30 p.m. I'm like, grandma ain't staying up for that, but
Yeah. Well, so, it's a very mutable kind of week with the Virgo quarter moon and Mercury going into Sag. It's the last week of Mars in Sagittarius. Mars is our drive, and it's in Sag, which is international. I mean, there's been a lot of Mars is also fighting and war and
Pete
aggression, and there's
Hegseth
been a
blowing
lot of
up
that
the, horrifying, just
murdering
straight up
people in Venezuela.
murderous killings of the fishermen and the boats, and just the racist attacks from Trump and just ICE on the Somali population of Minneapolis and
Terrible.
Minnesota
Terrible.
has been, as it's, I don't, yeah.
It's unspeakable. And, these are going to be people who some of the Nazi SS soldiers. Well, I was just following orders, or I was just, no, you're not. And
no
I
one
mean, I'm
even some
proud of.
Jews actually voted for Hitler. I was reading about that. And now you have there's a good number of
You mean in
Jews who are supporting Trump.
2024 or the
Right,
1940s?
right, exactly.
Yeah,
Right,
I mean,
right.
yeah, you can see. I'm giving a live demonstration of Mars in Sagittarius today, clearly.
Just like
As a
not
Sag,
holding
I'm just
back.
not holding back. No,
Nor should you.
but Mars will be in Capricorn on the 15th, which is where it's exalted. It's its favorite, most comfortable place to be. So I don't know if that will help or it'll just like make people even more emboldened. But for this week, speak your truth with Mercury and Mars and Sag closing out the week. It's better to clear the air probably before the holidays. I mean, Sag is not tactful, so
I'd wait
pack
till
your
next
tact.
week, maybe. I'd wait
Yeah,
till
like be
next
careful. It
week.
depends on the kind of conversation. But if you have two willing parties who are open to being honest and really hearing each other out, it could be a really good week for that, especially at the Virgo. Like if it's in the name of you know,
Thursday, you're saying
something
mhm.
bigger, shared goal of understanding, and you both have the capacity for it. It's a good week for that kind of thing. But if not,
But Mars squaring Neptune on Sunday is like kind of the trickiest point of the week
yeah,
because Mars is the accelerator, it's aggressive, and Neptune is passive. And a square happens when planets form a 90-degree angle in the sky. So while they're both in mutable signs, Sagittarius and Pisces, it's almost like they're kind of getting into an accident in the intersection. So Mars is speeding along, like, just driving and not caring. And Neptune is just like,
the old lady.
crossing the street.
Yeah.
Exactly. Crossing the street. And it's like, this could get ugly. So pay attention and be alert
Neptune's
this
like the old
weekend.
lady crossing the street who turns out to be the Oracle from the Matrix. So be
Right.
careful who you push past, who's moving slow, practice some patience. We also have Mercury and Uranus opposing each other early in the week before Mercury leaves Scorpio, which is another kind of hot-headed, volatile thing. So I might rescind my or put a little more of a guardrail around my advice of clearing the air, only with people that you can really be honest with.
Yeah, if you have a history of like really resolving things through crackling hot debates, then okay. But if you
or
know,
honesty and yeah.
I mean, Mercury and Scorpio, I think it's better to just kind of observe and maybe gather some evidence that you. Might need to present.
Could be that. Could be that.
But we're just it's
At least
fiery
you'll know
still
what
this
you want to
week.
say next week. So for sure, get
I
even if you
want
don't say it, get clear on what's really on your mind.
One of the things that on the Pantone double tap on that a little bit again is one of the ways that we get to use our art school degrees is when we're putting together our books and coming up with the creative concepts for it. And every year we really zone into the color palette that we want to use. And 2025 felt a bit muddier, a little bit grayed out, just sort of, the colors, not the ones I typically gravitate to at all.
Yeah, you did pick
They're
colors
very,
of the year, and they were very sort of like, yeah, they were like
yeah.
putty mixes, right? I mean, I think you had like sage green and like a mushroomy color, right?
Yeah, yeah,
We didn't use them on our
plum,
book cover, but
a rose, a dusty rose. Yeah, I mean, we did a green, sort of, it was a wood year, but next year's color, I mean, but that fit the vibe. It was sort of this sort of hazy internal, dusty, like foggy energy, a cloudy energy. And the colors for 2026 are like bright. They are,
the
you know,
fire, I mean, in feng shui and in, the lunar new year, the Chinese zodiac, the years that end in 0 and 1 are metal. That's when cloud white would have been good for 2020 or 2021 when we needed, you know, the color of a sterile bandage or whatever. So a
well,
mask.
well, I
But
think just the
fire
energy,
years, yeah,
the
6 and 7 years are hot pinks and orange and red, and that's what color we made the book cover.
yeah, and all the individual books, I just got my
They're
collection of all
bright.
12 are like candy colored and bright. And I think if that's the energy of next year, it's just like, let's go. I just think there will be things that we will feel that we can celebrate, that there will be victories coming, and there will be this like there will actually be a sense of renewal where we do the opposite of the cloud dance, where we come down from the clouds and we're like, ooh, we are sliding down a
Vibrance.
freaking rainbow to a different kind of pot of gold here because this old way of we're going to Oz. This old,
Yeah.
maybe
We
there's a
don't need
different way.
jewel tones, thanks. We're good.
Yeah, just give us some Easter egg rainbow brights. Yeah. So, anyways, if that, I mean, it's
Saturated.
sort of a psychic energy that comes in when we feel in. So, when I was looking at all the colors together, I was like, okay, this gives me some. We've been the colors we've chosen over the last few years have been very much in alignment with the energy of the year. So, I'm just looking forward to this palette, this
Yeah.
bright palette playing out and what it's going to ignite for people.
I love to be around those colors. It just they're stimulating, they're mood lifting, they're creative and bright. So yeah, my Pantone colors of the year are very far from that chip on the wheel. So we're yeah, I think so this week is about balance. This week is about clarification of your thoughts. This week is about
Waking
I
up
think
from the fog.
yeah, busting out of the fog and really sharpening your points,
I
your
think it's
mind.
Yeah, and I also
Yeah.
think it's an important week to review the data. If we're going to get with all the mutable signs, we're going to pull out the spreadsheets and look at the data. But it's a with Neptune going, direct and finishing up that 15-year tour of Pisces. There are some definite loose ends that need to be tied up for all of us, and done so compassionately, judiciously, but also without, we have to be careful of people trying to shift the narrative, pull the wool over our eyes until Neptune goes into Aries. There's still going to be a lot of, you know, spin doctoring going on, hypnosis, putting people into a trance. And that's, I think, what Neptune and Pisces can do. And it's like, oh, I don't want to deal with it. We can also go into the fog of denial. Sometimes a planet retrograde is actually can mute some of it. So Neptune going direct in Pisces, and this, especially, it can skew our best judgment, which is why I think leaning into that Virgo quarter moon and the incisive Mercury and Sagittarius and really getting the facts instead of jumping, just go. We can't just ride on our intuition and the feels right now. That's
Yeah.
important. We shouldn't tune that out. But I think it's extra important this week that no matter what you're doing, you also back up your assumptions with like credible data as best you can. And if you can't find any, then that this is something that warrants a deeper investigation and maybe even a longer runway before you make a decision. Like if
Yeah,
you
don't jump to conclude. When a planet is moving out of retrograde, it's in a phase that's called stationing, meaning it's, like if you've ever switched directions in a vehicle, there's that moment of whiplash where like when the train stops and you kind of like jerk forward and then back and lose your balance and feel awkward and embarrassed, at least if you're a New York City transit rider. And that's what the end of a retrograde is like. So we don't want to like let go of the pole too quickly and just launch out there because there's like one more sort of moment for the stationing, pulling into the station to take place. So just focus on kind of steadying yourself and observing and reorienting to the new direction where like sometimes Neptune retrograde rolls back the fog and then it comes back in, but honestly, it's been hard to, I think, get that feeling of helplessness that a lot of people have had, like, oh my God, I don't even know what to do.
right.
Neptune can be victimy, and I think that has really overtaken us since Neptune backed into Pisces, this feeling of like, oh my gosh, I can't do anything about all the horrible things that are happening
Well, the good
around
news is
me.
that Saturn is also now direct in Pisces. So Saturn's going to add some structure to, the things that you're like, I feel helpless. I feel victimized. I feel like this. But Saturn's going to help you come up with a plan to figure
Yeah.
out. And especially next week, as Mars goes into Capricorn on December 15th. How long is it there until? Like January 23rd, January
Yeah,
23rd.
yeah.
And then Venus is going to be in Capricorn. Venus and Mars are going to be together.
On
They are
Christmas
now,
Eve.
yeah, Christmas Eve
Venus on
until
Christmas Eve.
January 17th, and then they're together in Aquarius. So, we do have this opportunity to bring together feeling and action, dreams and structure. So it's like, again, so that's where the balance that you spoke of
And we'll
really
see what
does
happens.
show
Yeah.
up.
We'll see what happens with this Capricorn energy because, one last item that just hit the headlines, very Gemini full moon, was this
Right.
potential Netflix and Warner Brothers merger. And
That happened right at the
Paramount.
Gemini full moon this
It
past
did.
week.
It
Yeah.
did. And just this like merging of media and Mars and Capricorn can really like create corporate superpowers and that sort of thing. So I'm a little concerned
Well, the
about
son,
that.
David Ellison, who's running Paramount now, is a Capricorn. I think he's January 9th. But this is interesting. The Larry Ellison, who's got all the money there, the father,
Dad.
and Ted Sarandos. Is that how you say his name? I think so. Saranados or Sarandos, who's the CEO of Netflix. They're both Leos. So there's going to be this
Perfect.
lion on lion war. Of course, Hollywood is so Leo, but vying for.
Then David Ellison is a Capricorn and Mars is going to his sign. So he's not going to go down without a fight.
Yeah. I mean, I want to see Paramount have less power, for sure. They seem to be.
It still stuns me that South Park comes out every week as it does because everything else, their reach is so. Oh, God. I mean.
Media, Uranus and Gemini next year. It's like we got this last bit of Uranus and Taurus pushing the damn trad wife buttons for all of us. But when it goes into Gemini, which rules media, I think we're going to see a lot more independent media and just.
Which we did this summer.
Substack is flow, but I still think there's going to be a new.
Yeah, Substack is not going to be enough. It's going to be like the MySpace of it all, I feel like. And no shade to Substack because a lot of people have Substacks and I'm happy for them, but I cannot stand the user experience of Substack. Like, trying to just
have to log on to every damn blog.
So freaking annoying.
Have a single sign on. But also the people's big objection to the Warner Brothers Netflix merger is that Netflix, they don't like a long run time in theaters. They want to take these movies and get them streaming ASAP. When I saw Wicked 2 this weekend, I was kind of like, is the movie theater real? Like, it wasn't even full, but I know it is some days. But I'm just like, it was like we had reclining seats. It was awesome. But I'm like, what is, like the movie theater is like, I don't know. Ever since
my daughter
shootings
goes a lot with her
movie
friends, though. Like, teens are going to the movies, but certainly it's one of those like slightly fossilizing.
Cool.
Yeah, she does. And it was Phil, but I also have that feeling of like there's a layer of fossilizing happening over it. Every time I
love going to the movies, but I always forget to go to the movies. Yeah.
It's like we grew up. It's like I was hanging out with someone born in the 80s and someone born in the 90s, and we were listening to music, like surfing around on the TV and I don't know, somehow like Snoop and Dre came up and they didn't know any Tribe Called Quest songs. We're talking late 80s, like 89. They didn't know really any Snoop and Dre except for like Ain't Nothing But a G thing. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, how am I born in the 1970s and I'm the coolest person in this room? They're like, yeah, we know you are. But I was like, I guess that
Gen Xers are
not cool to be cool anymore when you're a Gen Xer in your 50s. But I was like, oh. And that's kind of how I feel about the movie theater. Like, thank God for Stranger Things coming back out, or else we would,
Well, I'm in some ways like I'll make that prediction for next year that 90s, political hip hop and even non-political hip hop, because I wouldn't call Snoop and Dre that, but 90s
they were
hip
more on the
hop is
later end, but yeah,
maybe
like
going
Public
to
Enemy and
make another
Boogie Down Productions. Yeah.
needs another. I mean, I'm like, who doesn't know 90s hip hop? But maybe, there'll probably be another wave of it maybe in the
So many
coming
people
years.
don't know it. I was like, oh, well, this is an opportunity for this catalog to be unearthed again. I was just like, I was both
So much good
shocked and
music.
like, oh, okay, well, I'll be sending you a playlist.
I mean, I
like,
remember being,
decolonize your mind,
I remember
millennials.
discovering more like, all the music that got sampled, Donny Hathaway and all, when we first
Right, we're like, ooh, what
started
is this
listening to hip hop, it
70s
was
music?
it was like, what's that? Oh, Barry White. And not that we
Well, I was
hadn't heard it, but
explaining to them, it's really interesting because they were like, they're by the time they were old enough to listen to it, like it was so commercialized, and so it was like Diddy, like full circle back to that, like
right.
like Diddy's Every Breath You Take, exploitation of Biggie's death, cliffhanger that
By the
I've
way,
already heard about.
we found out from the documentary that he actually made Biggie pay from his, account at Bad Boy, paid for Biggie's funeral. So while he was like taking the money for this mega funeral, he was on stage with Sing, dancing to every, breath you take and everything, just like
Oh my God. Yeah.
leveraging it for his own solo career that,
Sting got dragged
talentless.
into it thinking like he was honoring someone. Oh my gosh, what a grifter extraordinaire. But
Grifter should
yeah,
be the word of the year, not rage. So the word of
rage
the year is
bait.
rage baiting, which is, I hate. It's just like that's millennial cringe. It's like, shut
It is.
up. It's so
Cringe should be the word of the year. I've never heard that so much, but it was rightly used this year. So yeah, I think that what I thought about when I heard that, I was like, oh yeah, you don't really understand that hip hop was like a revolutionary, like deeply creative, disenfranchised like art form. You know it as this super commercialized, contrived,
it was on the margins. It was
sponsored by
revolutionary music.
clothing, and yeah, I was just like, oh wow, okay, well,
Play some X Clan from them. See, we did get nostalgic for Neptune Direct. There you go. We're getting nostalgic for the
Neptune and
days of the
Capricorn.
early 90s, when music was political. Music made a statement, and people, it was like you could keep things underground and find each other that way. But you know what?
There is no underground
There
anymore.
is, but
Maybe there is.
maybe there will be in the
It's,
fate. Man,
there is. It's called Reddit and
the AI
the
the rebellion and the backlash to AI. Like I keep saying, like people think we're stupid. Like the AI technocrats think people are idiots. We're not. We don't want your fake Tilly Norwood pseudo actress. We don't want these like
Nano
beautiful
banana
bots that look like, just give us humanity, give us curves, give us, wabi sabi. We don't want this like, chat GPT predictable sentence structure. Like it's a great tool, but it's not a great replacement. So I'll drop the
No.
mic with that, the great replacement theory. You know, is just on a digital level. It's so terrible, anyways.
And this is what the Grand Water Trine is.
This is what Mercury coming into
This
Sagittarius.
is and the last week of Mercury stationing direct. Mercury's shadow phase ends December 16th. So the backdraft, the stationing that we talked about with Neptune is happening with Mercury, the planet of communication, this week too. So all these thoughts that have been sort of bottled up and backlogged are downloading again. That, I guess, that is a bit of nostalgia. I'm not nostalgic for 2025, but I am nostalgic for eras when this was not the norm. Like, I never thought I would live through people actively signing up and enlisting and fighting to kill their own democracy and freedom, and to hurt each other. For what? Why are you taking pleasure in harming someone else who's just minding their damn business? They're not hurting you.
Because
They're
you've
not
been
taking your
propagandized,
job.
radicalized, and somebody made you feel like I mean,
That's
people
what I liked
only
about
do this
Wicked.
when they feel because they're in a cult. They've been
Yeah,
brainwashed.
Wicked was really interesting because it really did
Oh yeah, that wizard
pose
song.
Oz as like this sort of
MAGA world.
Yeah, this
its own
world of
way.
people who are like
Mega church.
Yeah, so it was spot on, I thought. And
The veil is lifting. The veil is lifting. And in we're going to see those candy bright colors. We're going to see everything in Technicolor next year. So enjoy the fog. It's not going to be there for long.
Get your book, get your 2026 book and planner, and read all about the predictions for you, for the world that we've made.
And big thanks to everyone who bought the book.
And we have our last ancestral breathwork journey with Sam.
Oh God, yeah, that's right.
Too.
Tuesday. Oh my God, so many things going on.
Yeah, Tuesday the 9th at 6:00 Pacific, 9:00 Eastern. It's for women only, but it is our last ABJ ancestral breathwork journey. Meet your ancestors, cut some cords before the holidays.
What a great way to it's our last one of the year and the last one we're going to be doing for a while. We did them every month for the last couple of years, but next year we're only going to be doing them here and there on a special occasion as things are evolving everywhere. It's been an amazing collaboration. So if you want to clear out some cords and get this energy moving and do a little clean sweep, and this is women only, but sign up. All of this will be in the show notes. Lots going on, but hey, it's Sag season. That's how it goes.
Yeah. So
anything else? Any parting
Easy
words,
does
Opie?
it. No, we're gonna have like upcoming announcements, like our cosmic closure webinar that we do toward the end of the year. Follow astrostyle.com/events for announcements of that. We're gonna have some touring around in January too with the book, but for now, this is what's going on this week. So wishing you a peaceful week. Be careful, stay grounded, stay centered, take extra good care of yourself as these energies are moving a lot and can be a little confusing or chaotic at moments too. So yeah, we'll see you next week. We'll see you on Instagram at AstroTwins and on our website every day.
Thanks for tuning in, everyone.
Yeah.
Till next week. Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to AstroTwins Radio. If today's episode gave you an aha moment, we'd be over the moon if you left us a 5-star review. It helps fellow astrology lovers find us. And make sure to hit subscribe and follow us on iTunes and Spotify so you never miss an episode. Want the full visual experience? You can also watch the video version on our YouTube at AstroTwins-TV. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at AstroTwins and head over to astrostyle.com to read your free daily, weekly, and monthly horoscope that we write for you with love. Until next time, move with intention and let the universe meet you there.